Hello, this is Wazo X Wazo, Evil O. Just thought I'd have one of my little morning chats with you with coffee. Um, I just wanted to say a few things. I was in Jaipur recently. If you've been following me, I've interviewed Nandan Gia, and soon we're going to have an interview coming up with Sari Man, Himanshu Verma, as this series continues. But I was also invited by Rana Das Gupta very nicely to come and attend the JCB Prize for Literature, which was held at the Rumball Palace in the Maharani Mahal. Glorious, glorious, fabulous, glamorous event. Met a lot of cool people there. Ran into some friends like Olivia Fraser and Sunil Mehra, Ranjita Scoti. Different people were there, which was nice to meet. But anyway, it brought about some thoughts about underdogs. And so this is what I want to talk about this morning, basically. Um, I'm calling it the underdog effect. We all want to root for the underdog. I think it's part of human nature, especially if you're of a more liberal persuasion, which most artists are, including myself. So here I am at this literary awards event, and of course, this was a prize that is given to authors who have written in local languages, not in English, but in local languages, for fiction. And they had started with some enormous amount of authors. The judges has spent a year reading all of these books. They narrowed it down to a long list. They narrowed it down to a short list. I can't remember the names of the authors or the books, but I will put it in the video right here so that you can see what it is. And I hope you read the list now and that you know who I'm talking about. But anyway, I hadn't read any of the books. I didn't know any of the authors except one, and that was Peramo Mukunin. I'm not saying the name right, from Tamil Nadu. And of course, I knew about him because of his political troubles a couple years back, and I was very sympathetic towards him. Um, but I found something very strange happening to me because I hadn't read any of the books, okay? Yet I found myself biased in wanting certain people to win and other people not to. That was because one of the authors was a humble rickshawwallah, and he was there with his white kurta on and a simple checkered scarf, and I was amazed that a rickshawwallah would find the time between driving rickshaw to write a novel, and a novel that would be good enough that it would be selected by this very distinguished jury to be up in the shortlist for the award. I was amazed and I was happy for this man. I wanted him to win. It was just like this natural inclination of mine. I want the rickshawwallah to win. Then there was another author who was tribal Santal from Shanti Niketan area, I believe, Santal tribe, Bengali. And he was rumored in the crowd to be a favorite for his novel, which I think was called In the Garden or something. I'm probably remembering that wrong. Once again, hadn't read the book, didn't know anything about the book, but I was hoping that he too might win this award because the award was considerable. It was 25 lakh. A 25 lakh award is a big award, especially if you're a rickshawwallah or if you're a tribal person. So it's that underdog effect crept in with me. I was a little surprised at myself, but I found myself picking people and wanting them to win, even though I knew nothing about their creation, okay? All of the shortlisted writers, I believe, were male, except for one woman. And they gave us little video previews of each of the authors. And when her preview came up, I found a natural sort of not being excited about her. And, it was my own biases, my own prejudices. Maybe it was a bit of misogyny. I'm sure I'll be accused of that. But she just seemed very well educated, middle class, maybe upper middle class, obviously had gone to a good university, probably came from a good family. She was writing about situation, the situation in Kashmir, which is, no matter which side of that you might fall on politically in your opinions, it's obviously a very trendy topic. I didn't have a gut feeling like, oh, I want this woman to win. It was the underdog effect. No, I wanted the rickshawwallah to win. I really did, even though I hadn't read their books. And that's a very strange thing that happens with us. And I think that happens with a lot of critics when they write about people. I've had artists who come from wealthy backgrounds or from solidly middle class backgrounds complain that they feel critics do not give them enough attention because of their background. The rags to riches story is still very powerful in our cultures, maybe more in American culture than in Indian culture. So we tend to want to root for the underdog. But it's very strange because it is a bias, and what I was doing at the JCB Literary Awards is I was judging people by my own prejudices and my own biases because of this underdog effect. And I know nothing about the book, and the woman who won probably very rightfully deserved to win. I'm sure that the jury picked after reading these books and really thought her book was the best book of the year and her book was the book that deserved to win. So congratulations to her. And, every one of the five, I think it was five shortlisted authors, they all got awards. They all got something like 5 lakhs. So it's not like anybody left empty-handed. I was happy for them all. But it certainly is something to think about. And, sometimes you think with collectors when they're buying art, when they're buying young artists, you might imagine that they're supporting the underdogs, and maybe they themselves actually think that too. But in many times when the collectors are buying the work of young artists, it's more like they're gambling on something they think is a sure bet, or a good bet that, this young artist has potential, very, very talented, knows how to network, is going to move up quickly, and his works are going to appreciate and value quickly. And so thus, I am buying the work of him now while he's still relatively inexpensive, or she is relatively inexpensive. So that's basically what I have to say this morning. I just was surprised at myself, honestly. I was surprised at myself that I was sitting there at the table in front of the stage in Jaipur and judging people and sort of rooting that certain people win purely based on what their professions were and what I presumed was their background, and which I really knew nothing about. And I certainly didn't know anything about their creations, what they had authored, what their novels were about. So anyway, from Udaipur, this is Wazwo X Wazwo. Evil O, thoughts for this morning. Bye.